The Black Girls Rock. Yeah, it's me, Romie. So this is the review for, what is this? What is this? If Loving You Is Wrong, season whatever. I think it's maybe like season 4, episode 4, something like that. Or season 3, episode 4. Look, either way, I'm just shocked at Randall. I knew Randall was a dirty old bastard, but I didn't realize how deep his psychological games played. I don't know if any of us really thought about what he actually did as far as his relationship with Alex. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Again, quick shout out to Black Girls Rock. That was amazing. I mean, the whole telecast, it was amazing. Everyone sounded amazing. Their vocals, the people who were celebrated, the women who were celebrated, just the importance of, you know, the fact that more awareness and more equality, that we're not done. We're not even halfway through. We're really still at the start gate. So we must do better. Now, and again, of course, shout out to people like Gladys Knight. Shout out to Rihanna, of course. I actually liked Rihanna's speech a lot. And just because of the fact that I really felt like this is kind of a different side of her that we normally don't get from the typical award shows. So if you guys didn't have a chance to watch that, watch that. Also, watch Chasing Destiny tonight, because that's going to be great. I'm sure it's going to be great. And just going off of what Kelly Rowland was saying with her interview with The Breakfast Club, I think that she'll be able to find some great talent and bring back girl groups, because I mean, there's no reason why there's only like 2 girl groups right now. Fifth Harmony and what is it? Fifth Harmony and Little Mix. Come on now. We need more. Alright, so enough with that. Now, the episode starts off where Natalie is doing her usual Natalie thing. Remember, she catches Lucian, not Lucius, but Lucian, talking to Claudia. Now, Claudia just put her phone number in Lucian's phone. Now it was just like, oh, so what are you doing? It's like, well, I was like, what are you doing here? It's like, yeah, forget about that. Lucian was Claudia was trying to introduce herself to Natalie. Natalie wasn't having it. Natalie was just like, hi, bye. So then Claudia eventually got the message, left. And Lucian was just like, look, I wasn't talking to that chick. It was like, alright, but did she give you her phone number? It's like, yeah, she just put it in my phone. It's like, give me the phone. He was like, yeah. She's like, okay, thank you. Alright, you can have that back. Now, Natalie was just like, look, I'm not here to fight. I'm actually not here to fight. For once. I know, strange. I actually did something nice for you. Again, I know, very strange. But, here's what happened. I actually made you lunch. It was like, Smurf? You did? It's like, yeah. And here's a new key. You're gonna need this. It was like, oh, so yeah, but before all of that, so where'd the money come from? It was like, look, I'm not telling you. I made the money legally. That's all you need to know. It's like, are you sure? So there's no one going to come to my house and come and bother me and my children. It was like, no. And this is where Lucian goes and says, I took care of Eddie. It was like, what do you mean? It was like, well, I shot him. It was like, what the hell's wrong? What do you think? It was like, I took care of him. Don't worry about it. I shot him in the chest multiple times. 8 times, actually. 8. So, you don't have to deal with him anymore. And she just had this look of, okay, I'm sideways happy, but why? And he was just like, he was wearing a vest, so he's okay. He was like, you could have killed him. It was like, he's fine. You could have killed him. Okay, that would have been the worst thing ever. No, it's Eddie. Now, she was just like, you kind of a G for that. And I'm like, oh, Lord Jesus, let's not perpetrate this whole hood thug mentality. And I'm glad that Lucian was just like, no, doing something like that does not make me a G. Of course, I'm going to protect my family regardless. I was like, alright, I'm going to protect all my kids. I'm like, look at Lucian claiming all the children, even though only one's technically his biological. See, that's why we need more Lucians in the world. I'm glad that Tyler Perry has a character like Lucian on here to show that other side, even though he's still not being truthful with what he did to get that money. I actually agree with Ashley Miller. If you watch her reviews, Ashley thinks that he's a private investigator. She actually is now thinking Claudia is too. I'm not going to give Claudette that much credit, but I will say I think Lucius definitely is working undercover. In some capacity. Absolutely. So we switch scenes and we have Alex talking with Kelly. And Kelly, you know, at first I was like, Kelly, why are you babying her? Why are you even doing that baby talk? And I was like, oh, the baby's right there. You can't talk loudly. Okay. But Kelly just had this whole thing of, you know what? Alex. You know, Alex, I don't recognize you. I was like, what? You know, I need that girl back. It's like, what girl? You! The one that I originally met when I met you. You know, the one who's just the happy housewife who was just full of life and ready to take on the world. What happened to her? It was like, things have changed. I've done so much. It's like, you can't beat yourself up. All you can do now is fix what's broken. One day at a time. It's going to take a while, but it's going to happen. And I'm like, you know what? Shout out to Kelly for being there for Alex. But I'm still kind of sideways irritated that we keep babying this chick. So I was really happy when Alex just had this whole mentality of, no, I have to take responsibility. It's like, yes, take responsibility. You messed up. You royally messed up. You slept with your friend's friend. With your husband's friend and got pregnant, had the baby. And now you want everyone to just be like, oh, the baby's here, so we're going to be all hunky-dory. No. This is the real world. In the real world, when you do stuff like that, you have to face the consequences. So I'm glad that's happening to you. And of course, Alex is just like, damn, how am I going to tell the children? How am I going to tell the children? Well, it's going to happen. And believe it or not, the kids aren't dumb. Especially your nosy kids. They are not dumb. You cannot fool those little bundles of joy. And I wasn't ready for what happened next. So Eddie talks with Claudia, and he's just trying to get her number. He's hitting on her, and you know, Claudia doesn't like Eddie. She doesn't like Eddie at all. She's just like, yo, so Eddie, what's going on with P? It's like, I don't know what's going on with him. He's probably dead. He's probably dead already. And I was just like, Eddie, really? Eddie, really? And she was just like, yo. And he was like, you know, I'm sorry. But here's my take on it. I've seen this play out a couple of times, so that's why I'm pretty much cold to it. And she was just like, you know what? You ain't right for that. You still ain't right for that. She doesn't want your number. She doesn't want you. And she was like, you know, Esperanza's my boss. So even if I did, which I absolutely don't, I wouldn't, because you tried to think. He was just like, screw her. She ain't ish. And I'm just like, talk about your baby mama like that. Yeah, shout out to you. That's really going to get the ladies. I just love the fact that Claudia isn't here for Eddie at all. She sees right through it. She's like, you are an ass. Keep making jokes like that, because he was like, oh, you got a nice ass. I was like, he was saying all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, sexual harassment, anyone? Sexual harassment? Because in what world, where does that... Anyway, so Esperanza comes up right behind Claudia as Eddie's trying to give Claudia his number. Now, Claudia's just like, yeah, no, I don't want that. Go away. Esperanza doesn't hear that part, so Esperanza's over. She's just like, yo, what are you doing here? Why are you still on the clock? You never clocked out. So you're still getting paid. You get paid by the hour, honey. You get paid by the hour. So I'm going to need you to clock out, do your job. She was like, you know what? Stop. Go away, Eddie. Go. All right, you, Claudia. You said you worked 5 years back in, what was it, Maryland? Where did she work? She worked in New Orleans. That's where she worked. And it was for 5 years. And during that time frame, you don't know really basic protocols. All right. Either you forge what you did, or you're just not that bright. And then, because Claudia's trying to make the excuse of, you know, it's different from state to state. She's just like, no, this is mandated by the government. So everyone has to follow this, because we worked for the government. How dumb do you think I for the government? Now, she was just like, clock out, leave, do better, or else your ass is grass. And I'm like, okay, I feel like we're going to learn more about Claudia, because why does Claudia really need this job? Like, what happened in her background? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So now we switch over to the policeman, and they're, of course, deliver the news that Pete, he's stabilized. And of course, Eddie's just like, yay. And the thing with Eddie is, clearly most of the cops are dirty. And so they know that something went on with Pete, and Pete shouldn't have survived. All those rookies who took the same route, they didn't survive. And it was all planned. Pete was the one survivor, or maybe the second survivor. And so they have to take care of him. So it's trying to figure out who's going to get tasked with the job of watching over Pete while he's in the hospital. Pete's friend wants to do it. They're like, no, you're too close to the case. And Eddie was like, Ben will do it. Ben will do it. Yeah, Ben will do it. You know, it's not like Ben's Pete's real friend, so he'll do it. And it's just like, okay, Ben's gonna do it. Eddie definitely wasn't gonna be allowed to do it. Lucian tried, but it's like, no, you're one of the best cops that we have, so we need you out on the streets. You need to get results. Now, Lucius, like I said, this is where I feel like I definitely agree with Ashley, where she's just like, you know what, maybe Lucian is undercover because he's probing a lot. And I'm like, okay, he can't just go to the chief because the chief is also crooked. So where is he going to go to? He has to go to the higher ups that are like out of state or whatever. That's what I'm thinking. Does he work with the FBI or something like that? Is he uncovering some foolishness that's going down in Atlanta right now? And Pete's friend's talking to him. It's just like, Lucian, you shouldn't trust Eddie. Eddie can't be trusted. He's dangerous. He's involved with a lot of tomfoolery. You seem decent, but I can't trust anyone. So I can't tell you everything that I know. All I can tell you is that I've been here for a long time, a lot longer than you. 7 rookies have died since I've been here, and they've all died the same way. So I'm going to need for you to watch your back and just know that no one can be trusted. I'm like, all right. So we didn't learn anything new except for no one can be trusted. Again, we didn't learn anything new there. Now, Kelly goes, intercepts Alex's kids who are picked up from the bus stop. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, they must have a really good relationship, because there's no way under normal pretenses that you can just shepherd someone else's kids into your house like that. That's what I was like, what type of foolishness is this? Now, Justice goes, sees the baby, of course that's Kelly's son, and Justice is like, because the Kelly's kids were like, oh, look at the baby, oh, he's so cute, he's so precious. Oh, gosh, was he in the sun for too long? He already has a tan. And I'm like, Justice, you ain't ish. I don't care how old you are. You ain't ish for what you said. Justice was like, that baby doesn't have a tan. He's blah, blah, blah. Kelly's like, go in your room. I'll help you with your homework. Shut up. I'm like, kids are too honest. That's the one thing I really love about kids. They're so honest. If you want the truth, ask a kid. Anyway, now, we find out that while Alex is trying to tell her children that she was an adulterer, her son already knows, because his friend's mom gossiped about it, and then his friend told him that his mom cheated on his dad. And so he was just like, oh, so I already know. You cheated on daddy. Not only that, are you going to get a divorce? And she was just like, yes. He's like, ah! I was just like, oh, okay. Her daughter was more so like, Mom, I know everyone makes mistakes. I love you. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. No, that's so cute. No, I'm here with Peter. That's her son. Peter and I are on the same accord. You cheated on daddy. How dare you? You harlot. I don't have time for you. And not only did you cheat, you're getting a divorce? This is all your fault. And her daughter was just like, you know, my friend's parents had a divorce, and she actually sees them and interacts with them more than when they all live together. So I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm like, and not for nothing, Brad's a good guy, so we won't have an issue with him wanting to see his kids or not. Randall's mom makes a huge revelation, because I'm thinking, alright, we're missing something. And we are. Randall set the whole thing up. He set the whole thing up. And when I say he set the whole thing up, what I mean by that is, Randall, his mom, shouts at her. I really didn't like her, but I've grown to appreciate her to a certain extent. Because she realized, you're a psychologist. You manipulated that woman. You knew exactly what buttons to push so that she would sleep with you. Because you wanted a child. You wanted a child so bad that when your show pony, now this is me elaborating, your show pony Marcy couldn't deliver, you went to the next door neighbor, got her knocked up, and now she has a child, and now your plan is to take the child away from her by saying that she lives in an unfit household. I was like, damn. You know what, Tyler? That was kind of good. That was kind of deep. We know it was intentional, but I'm like, Randall's acting really crazy. Why is he was acting a little too crazy for someone who's in love with someone. That's why I was like, this doesn't make any sense. There's no reason for him to be madly in love with Alex. Because he's not. He's not madly in love with her at all. He's madly in love with the woman who had his child. That's all it is. So he wanted the child. And he was going to do whatever it took to get the child. Now he realized Alex isn't going to be with him. So he has to go through legal means. He went to see a family lawyer so that he can go and fight for custody for his son. I'm just like, Randall, you dirty bastard. You dirty bastard. Marcy and Brad, they have a drink in their new home. Well, Brad has a drink. And it's interesting because Marcy and Brad fight off the urge to do something strange again. And they just compliment each other. It was like, I felt really bad about what we did. The sex was great. I just felt bad that we did that. We're both married, all of that. So they agree that they're going to remain friends. And at first, I was like, Marcy is touching him way too much for them just to be friends. But I was like, okay, whatever. Brad was drinking, so Marcy was like, I'm going to drive you. Yeah, I know I said I'm tired, but that doesn't matter. I'm still going to drive you. Randall's mom was ready to go because she was essentially trying to tell Randall that I see you turn into your father and I'm done with you. I can't. This is going to be the last time that I most likely will see you again. I was like, damn. So Marcy and Brad pull up just as Randall's mom's trying to leave. So Randall sees Brad go into the house and sees Marcy driving. He goes into the car and I'm like, Brad, if you put your hand on her, it's over for you. Do not touch her. Do not touch her, Randall. Now, Randall was just like, if you think you're lonely now, if you think you're broke now, wait until a month from now when I get everything from you. And of course, his mom's just like, Randall, get back in the house. Stop it. Stop it. And Brad was coming out of the house. So Randall was like, all right, that was round 1. Round 2, here we go. I'm coming after all of you. And I'm just like, oh, Lord Jesus. This week's episode was kind of, I wouldn't call it a filler episode, but it was like it was closing some storylines, partially closing some storylines, and then reintroducing some other ones. So, things to look out for. Why is Claudia there? Is Lucian undercover cop? When will the jig be up for Eddie and Ben? What will happen to Pete? Because he's still not conscious right now. Will Randall be able to get custody? Because, will Brad have to move back in to secure a loving home and stable environment? Did anyone think of that? Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Whew, I'm tired. I still have a lot of other crap to watch. Oh yeah, watch Chasing Destiny. Watch Black Girls Rock and watch Chasing Destiny. All right.